Good morning, everybody. Patty Ann here. Hang on just a second. Somebody named Buppy had asked over there on our YouTube channel, "Hey Patty Ann, is it possible to take like a Hello Kitty or a Mickey Mouse or any other image and add an offset to it and then just send it over to Cricut Design Space as a print and cut?" Absolutely. There are a few things you need to do though. So here is one that I'm just going to do a print then cut. This guy over here, I've already been messing with him, and if I right click and ungroup him, you'll see that he will come apart in all the little pieces that he needs to be for a cut that I could send over to Cricut Design Space. Okay, let me grab him again and group him back, and we're going to mess with this guy over here. So the first thing that I would need to do is I will need to do a trace of him. So I'm going to come over here to the toast, aka butterfly, and I'm going to select the trace area, and I'm just going to make a big box around him like that. And I'm going to up the threshold really, really high because I just want to make a trace of his outer border. I did fail to tell you that before I did this, however, I did hold down my Alt, click on him, hold down my Alt key, and then drag to make a copy of him, because I will need this later. So here we are again at this guy, and I'm going to select the trace area and draw a box around him. And again, I'm going to change the threshold up really high, and then I'm just going to say trace outer edge. So now I can drag him away and delete him. So now I have the outer edge of him, and I can actually color that in, and I'm going to make it the first, let me look at my notes. Yeah, the first gray. So here's white, and I'm going to make it gray. And then I'm going to offset it. So I'm going to click on it and come over to the offset tool over here on the right, the star. And I'm going to click offset, but I'm going to make it a smaller offset. So I'm going to click in there and make it 0.08 and hit enter or apply. And now I'm going to change the color of this offset. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this red line right here and come up here. This is where I made it the first gray. This is the fill color. This is the line color. For this first one, I'm going to come over here where it's transparent, meaning there'll be no line to look at. The second one, that's going to be the outer border of my offset, I'm going to change that line color to the, here's white, first, second, third, fourth gray. Okay, and you'll see why I do that in a little while. So that's pretty much done. Now I can just bring my bear over here. He's in the back. So I'll right click on the front thing and say send to back. And now what I can do if I want to is I can grab both of these and come up here to the center, which is right here. It looks like a target. Perfect. And then the only thing I'm going to do again is I'm going to select this, and you know sometimes how I get that box of other junk that comes in over there in Cricut Design Space because it was something off the mat that I had? Well, if you select what you want to save, you can go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive. And I'm just going to name this teddy bear, and I'll just put a with offset. Okay, and I'm not going to save it as this. Here, usually we almost always save everything that we save for Cricut Design Space as an SVG, but we're not going to save it as an SVG if we're doing a print then cut. We're going to save it as a JPEG right here. Okay, and this will come up, and I'll just say save. So then I'll open Cricut Design Space, and I was working on this a little while ago, so let me just hide this. Just hide it. And I'll upload upload an image, browse, and I'm going to look for the teddy. Let's see, teddy. There he is. Teddy bear with offset, open. Okay, he comes in like this, which is good. Now I'll go to complex. Now here's where you'll have to play around a little bit. Suppose I just come over here to the select and erase tool and come over here. Well, actually this time it's working. Sometimes it will erase all the way up to his body and it won't see the offset. But this time it wasn't a problem, so I can just continue. And look at this, how smooth it is, and that's great. So we're going to click, we're going to save this though. The print and cut. Say save. And now I'll click on him and I'll insert him. And he's perfectly ready to go, just like that. Now I will show you a mistake that you may make. Let's undo this. I'm just going to hit Control and Z on my keyboard for a bit. Okay. Let's say, get rid of one of these. Okay. Let's say that instead of making this that gray color, the fill, I'll make the fill white and I'll make the border white. Okay, now I'm going to send this to the back again, and I'm going to say this is number 2. So once again, I'm just going to highlight everything, and I'll come up here and center everything. All right, and now I'm going to grab everything again, and I'm going to go to File, Save Selection to my hard drive, and I'm going to leave the same number, but I'm going to save this one as number 2. And once again, since I'm going to do a print then cut, I will save it as a JPEG. Leave these as they are and say OK. Now I'm going to come over again to Cricut Design Space. This was the first one we did with the gray background. I'm going to upload an image, browse, and I'm going to find Teddy 2, open. Here he is. I'm going to go to complex and continue. Now I can barely see any white line around him. I'm going to try to erase. Yep, see what that does? Let's undo it once, and I'll go to advanced, and I'll maybe make this like a 2 and see if that works. Okay, that I can see a little bit around it. What if I undo that and make it a 4? Well, let's just preview it and see what's happening. Okay, you see this mess it's making? See all these jagged things around here? That's because Cricut Design Space can't really see that white border. So let's cancel this one, and I'll do another one. This time, I'm going to leave this part white, the inside, the fill, if you look up here, up at the upper left. But I'm going to make the outline of it. Now watch. You can barely see it, but when I zoom in, I just made it green. Can you see that, how it's a little bit green? I'll make it a different color. Watch it. Make it this pink. You see how I turned it to pink? Well, I'm going to make it a little bit of a gray color. The first, second, third, fourth one in I've found works pretty good so far. So I'm going to zoom back out. And I'm going to bring Teddy over here, put him on top. And again, just grab them both, center it. And then I'm going to go to File, Save Selection, and I'm going to save it to my hard drive. This time I'll name it number 3 so I don't get confused. As I learn more and more or try different things, I always up the number so they don't overwrite each other in case I need to go back. So now I'm going to go to Cricut Design Space. I'm going to go to Upload an image, Browse, and I'm going to go down there and looking for Teddy. Whoops, he's up here. Teddy 3. Look what I did, y'all. You see that? it's just a silhouette file because I forgot to save it as a JPEG. Let me click out of this, and now let me go to Silhouette again, and let me go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I still am going to name it number 3, but I'm going to remember to change it to be a JPEG. And say OK, and this comes up. So now I can go back to Cricut Design Space and browse and look for number 3, Teddy. There he is. The right one. The correct one. And there he is. And notice that little line around him this time. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to be able to manipulate it with this tool. Okay, that looks pretty good. Uh-oh, didn't do that right. Undo. Okay, there's something going on right there that's crazy. So let me go to Advanced Options and change this to maybe an 8. Okay, now that works. All right, let's preview it and see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. I see a little bit of jaggediness on him. Let's try again. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Undo. Let's preview it again. See a little bit of jaggedy over here in the right hand corner. It's not bad though. So that's better than it would be. So I could continue and use this one, because if you look at that, that's pretty good. When my machine goes around here to cut, it is going to do a little bit of a boop, 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 boop to try to get around that. But I think it'll be okay. So I could save this one and make sure I have the print and cut one saved. And then I'll insert it. So here's the second one here. So there they are, and they're ready to print then cut just as they are. And I could go ahead and do it. So again, let me refresh your memory. The first thing you have to do is, if this is your image, you're going to hold down your Alt key and drag an extra one over in case you need it, and you will. Then you're going to click on your object, and you're going to come over here to the toast, to the trace tool, select the trace area, and you're going to trace around it. Now notice I didn't go up high enough, but I can still adjust that right now. And I want to move this threshold button up all the way because I really want to get a good trace of him. And maybe not all the way, because I just need his outline. So let me go to Trace Outer Edge. And there's the outer edge. And I can delete this guy if I want to, or I could save him. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this outer edge and I'm going to fill this place or this thing with white. And then I'm going to click on it again and come over here to the offset tool, which is the star. Click on offset, change the size of the offset to anything I like, and I'm doing 0.08 and hitting apply or enter. And then I'm going to change the offset color to that first gray. Then I'm going to change the line of that offset to the fourth gray. So here's white, 1, 2, 3, fourth gray. And then I'm going to get rid of this red line here because I don't need it. And I'm going to make it like that. So you can just practice this and you'll see what I mean. And then you just drag this guy over here. I'm going to bring him to the front. Bring him over here. And again, I can center him. And once again, I would go like this and highlight all of him. If I don't highlight all of him and save the selection, when I go over there, I'm going to get parts of these other things. And maybe I'll just show you that right now. So if I just go to File and Save As, instead of saving the selection, but Save As, save to hard drive. And I save this as Teddy Bear. I don't remember, was it number 4 I'm on? And I remember to save it as a JPEG. Okay. Save. Now when I come back to Cricut Design Space And let me hide these guys. And I go to upload an image, browse, and I come back again down here where those teddy bears are. Teddy bear, here's teddy bear number 4. Open. So I get this whole sheet here. So I'd go to this. And then I have this over here to deal with. But I think, let's preview. Okay, that looks nice and smooth, so I'll hide it and continue. And I would do this one to print and cut. And when it comes in, I'm going to have this little scrap of this other guy in here that I don't really want. So of course, we know how to get rid of that if we have it. Just go to Shapes and get a square. Take the square over top of the image we want to get rid of. Right like that. And I click on the shape and hold down my shift key in this. I slice. And then I can slice this part out so I don't have it. But if I had just gotten rid of it to begin with, I would have been better off. Anyway. Alright, so one last thing I want to show you. And that is something, I'm not going to go into depth on it on this one. But I want to show you something about when you want to color him. So let's say we have this guy right here. And I'm going to come over here once again to the trace, select trace area, and I am going to once again bring my threshold up high so I can get a nice outline of him, trace outline. And I'm going to move the traced outline over here. I'm going to change that, maybe I'll change that to black or something. I can't remember what works the best, but there's that. Now here's the next thing. Let's say I want to trace some more. You know, sometimes you have to do many traces to get something. So I'm going to select the trace area, and let's say I want to get his little mug. Okay, it's really hard, and you can play with this, and it's really hard to just get his little mug area. So let me show you what you can do. Instead of going select trace area like this, come up here to the eyedropper and click on that. And then it says trace by color. So when I have trace by color selected, I can come here. It's going to trace his mug. Just say trace. And there I have his mug. And then if I want to color it, I'll come up here to the color swatch. And I can get the eyedropper again and come down here and go over the mug color. Whoops, I forgot to have him selected first. So let me select this first. And then come up here, grab the eyedropper, and color it. Just like that. Okay? So let's say I want to do his 2 little paws. I'm going to try to trace those the regular way. If I try to select the trace area, and I'm going to try to get his little paws. Okay, sometimes it's really hard to do this, right? So what I recommend you do instead, get rid of that trace, come up here to the eyedropper, trace by color, and then come down here and click on that. Okay, I have one of them, but look at this. It says trace by color options, a single area or all areas. I'm going to say all areas because then I have them both. And I'll click trace. So I have both of those little pieces selected. And again, I can come up here to the eyedropper, grab this color, and there they are, ready to go right on him. Let me show you one more. Let's say I want to do this part right here, his face color. So I'm going to trace by color, click on that, and I'll say all areas in case there are more, and there are. So I'm just going to say trace, and again I'll move him out of the way. I have this outer color right here. Let me highlight it first. Come up here, get the eyedropper, and come down here and color it. So I'll just move this into place like that. So obviously his little nose isn't in the right place, like that. All right, so I would just continue on like that. And in this case, well, somewhere down here I do have him all made up. Here he is. I would go to File, Save As. If it's going to be an SVG or a cut file, Save As, or I could do Save Selection As if I have it selected. Save As, save to hard drive. And if I was making the SVG or the cut file, I would remember to change this to SVG. If you're changing it to a print then cut, you do JPEG. Okay, something that I recommend that maybe you do is something like what I've done here with my print then cuts. These were my samples. So if you look at this one, you can see maybe that there's an outline around it that is pink. So what that means is I forgot, or I did not know yet, to change that outline color to a different color. So what I did was I put a note here that says JPEG offset, white fill, so I filled the offset with white, but I had the line as pink, and that didn't work very well. This one here now, it's better. I did the JPEG offset, gray fill and line, and it's okay, except for I see that that's sort of a gray color and I might like it to be a little whiter. This one was a white fill and a gray line, and it worked really well. So that's the one I'm recommending that you do. JPEG offset, white fill, and a gray line. And this is just the last sample that I did to try it again. And I did a gray fill and the fourth gray over line. So I had to do that one on this one for some reason. When I did it with just the white and the little gray, it seemed like it got really jaggedy edges. So when I did the preview, so I went back and changed that. So I just recommend that you keep little notes for yourself like this too, so you're not forever having to figure out, what did I do? What did I do? So, all right. Okay, well that pretty much sums it up. If you have any questions, let me know. If you like my tutorials, please give me a thumbs up and share these with your friends. Private message the links to my YouTube channel so they can see how they can use Silhouette for either their Silhouette machines or for their Cricut machines. So again, thanks for joining me. See you again soon. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to look at the links down below. Those are my affiliate links, and it really helps me if you use them because I get a teeny tiny commission and at no extra charge to you. And also join our Facebook group. We have 2 of them. Look at the links down there. All right, bye y'all.